Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. So friends, after having our back-to-back discussion either on the yearly transit videos, monthly transit videos or some spiritual discussion on the Ketu. So now with this video we will take a small refreshment or a refreshing break where we will talk about on a topic which fascinates and interests most of you people, which is about the relationship. So friends, in this video we will try to look at the D9 chart, and within the D9 chart the placement of moon and what does it tell about the prospects of the relationship, the prospects of your fortune, because D9 chart primarily tells about these two areas, your fortune and what kind of matrimonial life you can expect. But do you know that some of the scholars of astrology, especially when we talk about the D9 chart, Navamsa, so scholars like C.S. Patel sir, he has actually given a lot of the inputs, a lot of the commentary and insights on that the placement of the moon in the D9 chart can also tell about the peculiar qualities of your spouse as well, like the appearance of the spouse, mentality of the spouse. So that is what we will try to do in this video based on the findings and the work of the great astrologer C.S. Patel sir, along with what I have found in my research, what I generally see in the consultations. So it is going to be a blend of both of these two attributes. Friends, I could have just talked on this topic like this only, but just because lately I have been getting some good feedback that when I narrate any topic, so over there I somehow remain very consistent with the flow. So I have already made my points talking about the moon, so on my moon notepad, and now in the rest of the video we will talk about the placement of the moon in the D9 chart, different houses, specifically looking at the impact of marriage and the fortune prospects. And then in the second part we will also look at based on moon's different zodiac sign placement in the Navamsa chart, what does it tell about the spouse's appearance and the mentality. So now we will shift our discussion to the narration part. So friends, it's not an exaggeration to say this thing that your Navamsa chart reveals the truth about your marriage destiny. But one planet controls the emotional success or failure of your relationship. That is moon. So today we will decode the moon in all the 12 houses of the D9 chart, and specifically focusing on its impact on the marriage, emotional bonding, spouse's quality and the fortune after marriage. Because lately there has been this wave where people have been criticizing that with marriage there are lot many responsibilities. People who have some failed marriage relationship, they are famous, they are socialite, so they are spreading this narrative that there's no benefit of getting married and all. So obviously people could have mix of experiences. It's not like that if one person has gone through that, so everyone is going to have the same fate of fortune waiting for them. And what is personally customized written for you in the D9 chart, you can get to know about it. So friends, now comes the question that why the moon in the D9 chart matters. So in Vedic astrology, the D9 or the Navamsa is the chart of the marriage, dharma, luck and your emotional destiny. So it shows who you become after marriage, what kind of spouse you attract and how fortune unfolds once you commit. But the moon is very special because it is the planet of emotions, mental stability, comfort, intimacy and the ability to nurture a lifelong bond. So when the moon is strong in the D9, marriage becomes emotionally fulfilling, and when it's weak or stressed, emotional misunderstandings become the biggest challenge. So now we will start our discussion, friends. Let's say for example, if moon is placed in the first house of yours in the D9 chart, moon in the first house in the D9 chart. So see, moon in the Navamsa Lagna makes the marriage emotionally transformative. Like the spouse deeply influences your mindset, habits and personality. And if you have to actually give focus in the marriage's impact So you will seek emotional security and the closeness. You might be like very sensitive to the spouse's mood. Marriage feels like emotional rebirth, and spouse becomes your anchor. And like when we talk about moon's placement in the first house and its impact on your luck, on your fortune. So generally it has been seen that the strong rise after the marriage, and peace, stability and the public respect as well, and increased popularity or the recognition. So the theme with this placement of moon in the first house of the D9 has everything to do with marriage becomes your emotional foundation. And friends, many scholars have found this thing that with this placement it often brings early emotional shift, like even within the first year of the marriage. Now, let's say for example, if moon is placed in the second house of your D9 chart. So, moon in the second house of the D9 chart brings emotional bonding through family, food, finances, and the speech. Talking about the impact of the marriage, so family becomes central. Like it has been generally seen that this could be a case that if you are a male and you were always been an outdoor person, never much cared about the family and all, and people who are dependent on you within the family, but after the marriage somehow family becomes important. Like somehow marriage will make you domestic or family oriented. So, and it has been seen that emotional comfort from the spouse's voice and the presence. I always say this thing that these days it's much better, because gone those days when people used to get married for the sake of proving a point to the society. Now in today's day and age, it's very important that the other person also crave for the presence, because unless and until you by default don't need the presence of another person, relationship might not work out. But with this kind of placement, it has been generally seen that you get the emotional comfort merely with the presence of someone in the house. So it's a good supporting placement for that, for marriages to work out. And also like financial cooperation also strengthens after the marriage. And also friends, like the way if I were to give you a summarized version of it, the key themes. So emotional dependence, many times it has been seen, emotional dependence on the spouse's family, soft speech, nurturing household. Marriage brings a lot of financial opportunity, family stability, and spouse values your cultural or your family tradition. So like moon in the second house strengthens the dhan yoga, and if the Navamsa, Venus or Jupiter is also dignified, it is going to be a very supportive sign. Now talking about its impact on your fortune. So money will definitely grow after the marriage. You might have gains from the partner's family, and it is also good for the communication based careers. Now friends, if your moon in the D9 chart, in the Navamsa chart, is placed in the third house. So this placement makes marriage communicative and expressive. Like if I were to only focus on the impact of the marriage, so it has been generally seen that emotional clarity improves the relationship. Like spouse might be very expressive, supportive, or might be courageous, and there might be some joint hobbies. And generally it has been seen that the travel strengthen the bond. Like many scholars have linked this placement to the parakram karma, means courageous karma, and the key themes which surrounds around emotional expression, which improves after the marriage, and spouse encourages the creativity or the communication, and emotional bond also grows through the teamwork, and courage rises, like native after getting married, he becomes more independent, confident, and at times it has been seen that the native also start taking more risk in the life. So this moon makes the native emotionally communicative, and spouse becomes a companion in the pursuit. So it's a good placement. And talking about the impact of marriage or like the D9 chart, this placement of moon in your luck, in your fortune. So this could give you success in the media, writing or communication. And the way I mentioned, confidence rises after marriage. And the theme is generally emotional courage and the creative partnership. Now friends, let's say for example, if in the D9 chart, your moon is placed in the 4th house of the D9 chart. So it is like generally considered as one of the best placement, especially if you are seeking emotional peace through marriage. So the impact of marriage, it has been seen generally that like deep emotional comfort from the partner, loving and nurturing domestic life, strong desire for home stability, family. I always say second house, 4th house makes you a family oriented person. And like many scholars call this as the sukh prad moon, like giver of happiness. Giver of happiness, and the key themes generally hovers around that strong domestic harmony, emotional peace through home and spouse, blessed and very nurturing family life, motherly qualities in the spouse, and chances of amassing or buying property, multiple properties after marriage. So moon in the D9 charts, 4th house shows the heart foundation through the spouse and its impact on your fortune. So the way I mentioned, many property gains, peace and stability comes after the marriage, and supportive spouse, which brings emotional wellness, and marriage heals many old emotional wounds as well. Now friends, let's say for example, if your moon is placed in the 5th house of the D9 chart, so it's a very romantic fortune and the poor punya. So like generally romance, creativity and emotional joy flourish here. Like its impact on the marriage, like this could be a very playful, very young, youthful, romantic marriage, and there is going to be very strong emotional and sexual compatibility as well. And uh, generally even after marriage, the couple derive the joy through the children. So it's not like that one of the person will be burdened with the responsibility of the children, and the other person is going to be walking around carefree or careless. No, it's going to be like that. You jointly in the marriage derive the joy through the children. And so yes, friends, if I were to like focus on the key things, if I were to summarize it, it's a very romantic and a joyful marriage, fortune with children, creative marital bonding, emotional happiness from the love expression, and strong Navamsa lineage blessings. There's a high possibility of that. Talking about the fortune, friends, so obviously if you are in a creative sector, in a speculative sector, so there will be gains from the creativity investment after getting married, after the arrival of the spouse, and the spouse also encourage your talents. Now friends, so if I were to summarize it and give it a caption, I would say that moon in the 5th house activates the manas shakti, the mental power, and gives artistic spiritual marriage blessings to the native. So the theme of this placement of the moon is about, it's all about love, joy and creativity. Now friends, if let's say for example your moon is placed in the 6th house of the D9 chart, so this is a emotional debts or the rin karma. So this is one of the most like karmic placements for the D9 chart moon's placement. Now its impact generally come in the marriage through emotional stress cycles, sensitivity to criticism. Spouse may bring like duties, responsibilities, and you may need to serve, understand and compromise. Like many people complain that their life has been all about this, and again friends, you have to understand it has nothing to do with the traditional or conservative societies or the modern societies. If you are born with a destiny, with a yoga, life will make you go through the similar kind of experiences. You would not believe, I can give you reference of so many of those charts and client consultation where like the female who is a housewife, she complains that her husband, irrespective of being rich and wealthy, he makes her like crave and beg for small things just because she did not have that yoga in her chart. So irrespective of being married to a rich guy, she still has to crave and struggle for the minimum things because she has that destiny. So that's what you have to understand. So friends, if I were to summarize, the key theme of this placement is past life emotional debts show up. Sensitivity, which leads to arguments if not controlled. Spouse might have health or like work pressure. Service oriented marriage, emotional refinement which comes through challenges. So it's a rin bandhan, like marriage cleanses past life emotional debts. Also, when we talk about the fortune, like because every placement have got something good to look at. So the fortune which comes and which can be expected with this placement of moon in the D9 chart is fortune comes after overcoming conflict, growth through work, discipline and routines. So in short, the theme is all about healing emotional wounds through patience. Now friends, let's say for example, if your moon is placed in the 7th house of the D9 chart. So what does it tell about? It tells about the emotional spouse. This is a deeply emotional marriage placement. So the impact of the marriage, spouse could be very nurturing, emotionally expressive, a strong mutual dependency on each other, which is very good for the sustenance of the marriage. It also tells about the emotional highs and lows which shape the marriage. So, if I were to summarize, Moon in the 7th house of the D9 chart intensifies the marriage karma. The key theme generally hovers around spouse is emotionally influential, emotional fluctuations define the partnership, need for sensitivity and understanding, strong attraction and the bonding, marriage boosts the social standing. So, like many scholars use this placement to predict marriage becoming the central dharma. So, after the marriage, somehow the presence of the partner, well-being of the partner will become very important. So, the theme with this placement is about marriage becomes your emotional mirror and the fortune aspect. So, we say that the spouse brings strong fortune and the marriage significantly improves your life path. Now friends, let's say for example, when we talk about the moon's placement in the 8th house of the D9 chart. So this is a placement which has to do more with the past life, emotional baggage and the transformation. So this is a karmic rebirth kind of placement. Its impact on the marriage, intense emotional bonding, hidden insecurities might surface, deep transformation through the spouse and emotional healing from the past life wounds. So the summarized theme is that this is a placement which will facilitate or demand deep emotional purging. Spouse might trigger hidden wounds and it is definitely going to be transformational marriage. A lot is dependent on moon's dignity in the 8th house. Is it exalted? Is it aspected by good planets, conjunct with good planets? That will tell about in which direction this transformation will take you. And generally it has been seen that it can grant someone strong intuition, psychic sensitivity, and there will be some sudden emotional events which will happen in the marriage, which will jolt you for good or for bad. This is what the beauty of the 8th house is. So friends, moon in the 8th in the D9 has got to do with the suddenness in the emotional life, and it also produces occult interest. It is very strong for the mystics, healers or the astrologers. The fortune part of this placement is that you might have gains through the spouse's assets. Interest in occult, astrology or psychology might increase after the marriage, and there might be sudden ups and downs in the fortune. So the theme is emotional purification and the spiritual awakening. Now friends, moving ahead. Now let's say for example, if your moon in the D9 chart is in the 9th house of the D9 chart. So first of all, it's a very highly blessed placement, like a Bhagya Yog Karak moon. Now the key theme is about highly fortunate marriage, spiritual or very wise, well respected, well managed spouse you might find with this placement, and there will definitely be fortune which will be awakened after the marriage, like travel, teaching or dharmic pursuit will increase after getting married, and there will be blessing from the gurus. So the impact of marriage for you with moon's placement in the 9th house is that your spouse might be very wise, moral, spiritual, emotional harmony based on the values, and strong luck and the divine protection. Now friends, talking about specifically specifically to the fortune aspect of yours. So massive rise after the marriage. There will be increase in the travel, foreign blessings, we talked about that, and the strong dharma and the clarity of your life purpose. So in short, the theme is spouse is equivalent to the divine blessing. Now friends, talking about if your moon in the D9 chart is in the 10th house. So marriage will influence your career and the public life. Like this is a placement which tells about karma through marriage. This means there will be career uplift through the spouse. So the key theme is that there will be some emotional duty in the relationship. Spouse will influence your career choices. Recognition or status will come after the marriage, and marriage will activate your public karma, and there will be strong dharma connection as well. So in short, we all have seen those marriages where the spouse supports your ambition after the marriage. Emotional responsibilities might be tied to the career as well, but for sure your public reputation will improve. Talking specifically from your fortune point of view, so high career rise after marriage, professional success after marriage, and the spouse will help you with your goals. So marriage will activate karma connected to your life purpose, what you are meant to do, and your spouse will contribute, will support you in that path. Now friends, talking about like if your like moon in the D9 chart is in the 11th house. So friends, we know this thing that this is a very supportive emotional placement, which is like the way we say 11th house is the house of the fortune through gains and the networks. So the key theme is that you will have strong gain after marriage. Spouse will boost your ambition. Marriage will expand your network. You will have emotional joy because your wishes and desires will get fulfilled, and you will have happiness from the community or the group. So it's like a very friendly and the comfortable marriage. Spouse will help you manifest your dreams, and you will also get very strong support from the community. This could be the network friend circle of your spouse as well. And when we talk about the fortune aspect, friends, so significant increase in your income as well, and there will be gains from the network and the collaborations. So in short, the theme is about marriage will bring the fulfillment of the desires. And lastly friends, when we talk about moon's placement in the D9 chart's 12th house, we know that this is the most spiritual moon placement. So the key theme is going to be about emotional bonding in the private or the spiritual ways. Like you might have a foreign spouse or a foreign residence after the marriage, or there will be deep sexual or the spiritual connection. Emotional solitude or withdrawal phases will also happen in the marriage, and there will be heightened intuition and the dream life, and this could be connected to your partner as well. Your partner has gone for a foreign trip and he's in trouble, she's in some trouble, and you will get that hint, you will get that instinct of that, intuition of that. So it has to do with that. So moon in the 12th house reveals a spouse who will awaken your inner spiritual life and will make you a eligible candidate for the liberation. It's a moksha adhikara. So the impact of this placement in your marriage is all about emotional withdrawal or distance at times. Spouse may be foreign, possibility, introverted or spiritual. There will be deep emotional, sexual and dream-like bonding. Fortune aspect, if I were to talk about, there will be gains from the foreign lands, spiritual growth after the marriage, and strong intuitive development. So one thing is for sure, that marriage will open the doors to the moksha. And when I say moksha, it has nothing to do with only like departing to the forest and mountains in the woods. I mean to say, not being attached with your body and being attuned more to your soul, and doing everything with a mindset of a detached mindset, just doing your duties, fulfilling your responsibilities. So friends, in conclusion, your moon in the D9 chart reveals how your heart behaves after marriage, how your spouse shapes your destiny, and how your emotional maturity unfolds through partnership. Understand your moon and you understand the emotional blueprint of your marriage and the fortune. Now friends, talking about the second part of this discussion, which is about moon's placement in the D9 chart and what information does it provide about the spouse's appearance and the mentality. And we will be somehow taking the inspiration and the bites from the great astrologer C.S. Patel sir as well. Like some of the scholars call it as the Patel method as well. So friends, see, to be precise, you have to like give attention to the Karaka theory, Nadi, the Gemini influence, Rashi and the Navamsa blending, Moon's nature, dispositor strength, Rashi's facial traits, and the mental guna balance. Okay, I will explain you step by step. So see, just focus on these three rules. That Moon in the D9 chart will show the spouse's outer appearance and the emotional temperament, because Moon softens the feature, give charm, sweetness and gentleness. Appearance is decided by the Rashi of the Moon in the D9, strength and nature of the Moon's dispositor, and planets aspecting or co-joining Moon, conjunct with the Moon. Mentality. So specifically, mentality is seen through Moon in the D9 chart, 4th house of the D9 chart, and the Venus's condition. So let me repeat. Moon in the D9 chart shows spouse's outer appearance and the emotional temperament. Specifically appearance is decided by Rashi of the Moon in the D9, strength and nature of the Moon's dispositor. That means if Moon is placed in the Capricorn, so the strength of the Saturn. If Moon is placed in the Libra, strength of the Venus. So Rashi of the Moon in the D9, strength and nature of the Moon's dispositor, and the planets aspecting or conjunct the Moon. And the mentality specifically is seen through Moon, the 4th house of the D9 chart, and the Venus's condition. So okay friends, now we will quickly look at different zodiac sign placement of the Moon in the D9 chart. So we know that Moon naturally gives the gentle face, soft skin, youthful expression, charming smile, moist eyes or expressive eyes, pleasant voice, graceful movements. So even if Navamsa Lagna is going to be harsh, Moon has this capacity that it can add the softness. So now talking about specifically to all the zodiac signs, if Moon is going to be placed in the Aries in the D9 chart, so what could you say about the spouse's appearance? So the spouse might have very sharp and the alert eyes, athletic or fit build, might be very active, wants to work out. So athletic or fit build, confident posture, and a very quick to smile. Like smile is always there on the face. Slightly youthful. When we talk about the mentality, so obviously the Aries quality, direct, bold, emotionally reactive, acts before thinking, passionate but impatient. So Moon in the Agni Rashis, like fire Rashis, gives quick emotional ignition. Although it is very good, like especially when you are in a dating stage or in a courting stage, this quickness of the Aries always works in the favor. Now friends, talking about if Moon is in the Taurus in the D9 chart, it means it is exalted. So what can we say about the spouse's appearance? So see friends, like we are not talking about Venus, because Venus rules Taurus, Venus rules like Libra, it gets exalted in the Pisces. We're talking about Moon, and Moon will be good in the Libra as well, the Venus quality. But in Taurus, Moon is, it's not only in the Venus's domain, but also it is exalted as well. So that means the spouse appearance, there is a possibility of the spouse being having a very beautiful face, round, oval shape, very luscious hair, like hair might be of good quality, attractive voice, comfort loving, luxury loving, and very grounded in the life. Like financial stability will matter a lot even in the initial selection or dating or finalization. So in the selection process, which generally happens in the arranged marriage and all, and even if not the arranged marriage, like many people who have that ideal match set in the back of their mind. So financial stability will matters a lot. Talking about the mentality, so stable emotions, loyalty, sensuality as well, nurturing, strong attachment to the family. So this is one of the top placement for a beautiful spouse. Now if your Moon is placed in the Gemini in the D9 chart, so regarding the spouse's appearance, we get to know about the spouse could be youthful, slim, very lively, friendly, social, sharp, curious eyes, very clever facial expression. So the appearance is going to be youthful, slim, lively, sharp, curious eyes, clever facial expression, and the mentality is going to be playful, talkative, dual nature, intelligent but emotionally fluctuating, curious, and mentally active. So moon in the dual sign creates the two emotional layers. Now if moon is placed in the Cancer in the D9 chart in its own sign, so talking about the appearance of the spouse, very expressive eyes, soft, calm, serene aura, traditional or like that homely beauty, like very homely kind of look in the face. Talking about the mentality, very deeply emotional, empathetic, nurturing, family centered, high intuition, and spouse will somehow become the like emotionally dominant. Talking about the moon being in the Leo in the D9 chart, what does it tell about the appearance? So the spouse might have a very radiant face, a royal or confident look, strong presence, thick hair. Talking about the mentality, strong ego or the pride, very warm-hearted, emotional but authoritative, likes to be respected. If moon is placed in the Virgo in the D9 chart, so regarding the appearance, someone who's going to be very neat, very clean, very refined, sharp features, delicate or very graceful look. Talking about the mentality, so very analytical, practical, overthinking tendencies, emotionally well controlled, and very service oriented. So Virgo moon gives very emotionally shy spouse. If moon is placed in the Libra in the D9 chart, so spouse is going to be attractive, very balanced, symmetrical features, elegant dressing sense. Talking about the mentality, very peace loving, harmony seeking, diplomatic, very art, like the person might have very artistic interest. And we say that it's a very strong yoga for good marital comfort. If moon is going to be placed in the Scorpio in the D9 chart, so the appearance of the spouse is going to be like the spouse might have very intense eyes, magnetic aura, sharp, mysterious look, transformative beauty, and very hypnotic kind of touch. Talking about the mentality, friends, so deep emotions, hidden feelings, suspicious, alert, defensive, very passionate, and there will be strong sexual energy. And emotional storms purify the marital karma. If moon is going to be placed in the Sagittarius in the D9 chart, so regarding the appearance of the spouse could be tall or athletic, bright, very optimistic face, philosophical aura. Talking about the mentality, is going to be very honest, very straightforward, emotionally idealistic, hungry for knowledge, and will be freedom loving. Now friends, if moon is going to be placed in the Capricorn, so what does it tell about the appearance of the spouse? The spouse might have very mature expression, serious eyes, calm, very disciplined look. Regarding the mentality, might be emotionally reserved, ambitious, practical, and slow to trust. So moon in the Saturn signs generally gives very like quite emotional nature. Talking about the moon being in the Aquarius, so the appearance of the spouse might have very unique look, modern, or this could be very unconventional style, intellectual eyes. Talking about the mentality, so detached or independent, and emotionally unpredictable, very humanitarian minded, like people who want to make the world a better place, that kind of mentality. And slightly kind of unusual mind. And lastly friends, if moon is going to be placed in the Pisces, so that means the appearance of the spouse is going to be that might have a very watery or very dreamy eyes, very soft and spiritual aura, artistic or mystical look. See, talking about the mentality, will have that emotional depth, compassionate, idealistic in love, and there might be escapist tendencies at times as well, but one of the most spiritually romantic placement. So friends, I hope this video proved out to be informational, and whatsoever your practical findings are, do share that in the comment section. Like the way I always say that just stand alone from one planet, it is very difficult to give a comprehensive picture, but somehow, like the way the author whom I have referred for this discussion is very revered in this field, and also based on my research, in my consultation experiences, I have also seen the resonance of that. So it's a learning platform. We all learn from each other. So whatever is getting applicable in your case, do write that in the comment section. Even if you want to contradict it, I don't get offended. Please share it. It will help the community. So yes friends, for further more updates and notification on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on my Instagram account. धन्यवाद.